Alrighty, we are live. Just waiting for audio confirmation that it's working. What up, Jules? Alrighty, we are. Okay, got it. Alright. Gonna wait one more minute. See if we get some other people, some latecomers directly from the Ramsey show video on the YouTube, which is ending right now. Marshall. And thanks so much for your support. Anybody that's watching now or that watches it later. Little agua. What up, Trey? Mama call him Trey. Daddy call him Trey. I call him Trey. What up, Mila? It's not Mila. It's Mila. I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know why I thought it was Mila. Whoops. What up, Jack? Can't believe my biggest fan, Ice-T, is not in here. What is up with that, yo? Or the other one that changed his name. Oh, I wouldn't be able to see him anyway because I blocked the other one earlier that had my name and his username. And oh, what a loser. You got to get a life, pal, is what I would suggest. Alrighty. I am Coach Steve Money, and I am a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach, not just, some idiot yelling at you. I mean, the idiot is up to you, but I am a certified financial coach. So I do have the street cred, as it were, or at least the Franklin, Tennessee cred for being a financial coach. And youtube.com/coachstevemoney is where you're watching this. And you just scroll down. I have a bunch of different hobbies and interests and stuff like that. And some that get more views than the financial stuff. But answering your financial questions is my weekend stream. And that's a playlist that has 126 videos in it. And the Ramsey Show Aftershow show. This is number... what is it, 397, right? Yeah, 397 of these that I've done. And yeah, go back and look at the first one. It is a mess. Anyway, and the music playlist, of course, has 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in there that I sing, and they use other people's music. I don't know if that really classifies them as a quote unquote parody. But sometimes YouTube thinks that they're covers, and then they give me half of the views from the money. Not a ton of views. As you can see on the shorts version, the 9:16 version of "You Belonged It Free," that only has 89 views, for example. So not a ton of views on there. But and I really thought that if anything was going to take off, it would be those, but guess not. But I will do some more. Let's do some more promotion of those let's sing one of those. This is the newest one that I've written. It's 25 views so far, and that is called "How to Do the Baby Steps Right," and it's from the phrase, what's the name? How to Save a Life. Jack, making the Every Dollar app available in Europe and Financial Peace University and stuff like that. I don't know if that's going to happen at all ever. I know other countries have a problem with him using the word university in his class, Financial Peace University. So I don't know that will ever happen. I mean, you can certainly call up and suggest it, or call the office and suggest it, or send an email and suggest it. But certainly, I mean, it's yeah, I mean, I do kind of find it kind of weird that he's leaving all of these, all of the Euros, all of the other countries, leaving them out to dry for the last hour. So he's giving up all those views. I understand if you don't want to pay the 30% eventually to YouTube, but right now you're not getting any money from being on the app. You know, some people have theorized that it might eventually go to a paid thing on the app, and it could. Never know. But right now he's not making any money on that, and so at least he's making 70% of the cash on the YouTube. All right, so let's give the song a try here. I did rehearse it one time. No promises though. It has been about 2 or 3 weeks, I think, since I last sang it. Step 1, 1K emergency fund. You don't save more to add to that sum. You don't use that to pay off debt. And don't even think about higher steps. You stop investing till step 4. Just step to the pedal to the floor till you paid off all your consumer debt. Do not do any other step yet. Where did you go wrong? You lost your place somewhere along in the baby steps, and I would keep explaining to you all night how to do the baby steps right. Full emergency fund is step 3, but only after you're consumer debt free. Stay gazelle to save this fund. Investing is still in the amount of none. Once there's 3 to 6 months of expense, time to invest in retirement. Just 15% till house payoff. I said just 15% till house payoff. And where did you go wrong? You lost your place somewhere along in the baby steps, and I would keep explaining to you all night how to do the baby steps right. Only 15% gross investing mix, cause that's step 4. You still have to do 5 and 6. No loans you save for kid college, so your child gets that debt-free knowledge. Paying off how silly is step 6. Then step 7, you build wealth and get no exceptions. You won't improve Dave steps. The steps of proving your way is a mess. And where did you go wrong? You lost your place somewhere along in Dave's baby steps, and I would keep explaining to you all night how to do the baby steps right. And where did you go wrong? You lost your place somewhere along in the baby steps, and I would keep explaining to you all night how to do the baby steps right. Do the baby steps right. How to do the baby steps right. Whoops. Where did you go wrong? You lost your place somewhere along in those baby steps, and I would keep explaining to you all night how to do the baby steps right. And where did you go wrong? You lost your place somewhere along in the baby steps, and I would keep explaining to you all night how to do the baby steps right. Baby steps right. Too much strumming. How to do the baby steps right. Alrighty. And let's check on the chat. Make sure we didn't lose anybody. Nobody passed out like Elvis would, or like Elvis would do to people sometimes. Jack thinks it will be paid on the app. It's possible. It's possible. Or he'll sell his own ads on there. He'll sell ads to other people, blinds.com, etc., all that. So that's possible as well. And just like any other company, I have no problem with Mr. Ramsey trying to secure the bag at all. Because you don't have to pay any money to get the advice. You might have to watch a commercial. That's possible. But other than that, you can follow the baby steps without even spending one single cent. Even though the baby steps are right there, they're available on RamseySolutions.com. You click on products, and then you click on 7 baby steps, and look, they're right there. But some people do get things wrong, and that's why I wrote that song. And they came to me like most people came to me. I was driving to work, and it came on there, and the first actual line is what is it? Step 1 you do. I can't remember right now, because this song's in my head, but it starts with step 1 something. So that was pretty easy. And so I had that, the first line, I got the first line there. And then when it got to how to save a life, I fit how to do the baby steps right in there. And so then the rest of it they write themselves, really, is how that works. Market report. And we got down today. It was up yesterday, and people so if you want to know the temperament of people that do the trading, their Indian name is overreacts to everything, would be their Indian name. So you remember in, what was that, Dances with Wolves? That was his Indian name, Dances with Wolves, because he was like running around with them. And so they named him Dances with Wolves. So overreacts to everything. And so good or bad, they do overreact to everything. And today, I think it was, what was it? What did they blame it on today? Let's see. Oil spikes on Iran attack. Okay. Well, on any kind of country getting a little bit naughty there, doing attacks and stuff. What else was there? Wasn't there something else? No, I guess not. Thought I saw something else about they were worried about some Mid-East stuff, which I guess is Iran as well. So, but when is the Mid-East not going to be tense? So the Mid-East was tense already yesterday, and the market still went up. So I don't understand it. But regardless, what was that? The most the most down, NASDAQ. And that's to be understandable, because they go the most both up and down when they do go up and down. See what the rest of the country's doing. Europe, mostly down, except for FTSE, they call this one. Isn't that fun? I think that's their like S&P 500, maybe. That one. I'm not sure, though. Maybe A9 would know that. I think she went to bed, though. Asia, mostly up. Cool. Let's check the currencies. The US dollar, and we'll see if the tradition holds. When the US market is down, the dollar tends to be up, and vice versa. Not 100%, not always, but mostly. So your US dollar over the euro, US dollar down to the Japanese yen though, US dollar up over the British pound though, US dollar up over the, oh no, down to the Canadian dollar. So it's not a clean sweep today, or not even close to one. And the US dollar up against the Australian dollar, mate. Let's see what the futures are. So tomorrow down as well. So we'll see. I mean, it can always change from being way down in the evening futures, and then in the after hours trading, and then the before hours trading changes everything, and it goes way up. Let's see, what else do we want to look at? We wanted to look at the single stock. Who we got reporting today? The single stock. Who we got reporting today? Nike reported October 11th. JP Morgan Chase. I guess nobody else exciting. Apple down 2.91. These are the most followed single stocks on the Google. Too much singing. Thirsty. Alphabet, and we know what companies they own, right? At this point, you didn't know there was going to be a quiz later, did you? 0.69 up. Microsoft 2.23% down. Amazon 0.64% down. Meta, and we know what company they own too, right? Companies. And that's 0.70, and the Tesla down 1.38. All right, couple of stories here. I didn't bother reading it, but oh yeah, this is the one I was talking about earlier. When has the Middle East not been tense already? So it was tense yesterday. So, you know, I mean, I say as oil spikes up on escalating Middle East tensions. Yeah, I mean, so the oil goes up, so that means NASDAQ has to drop 1%. So I don't know. It's all overreaction. Trump blames the port crisis. I don't want to unblock it. Let's see. What did it say? Strike on massive inflation during the Biden-Harris regime. And I don't know that the president nor Congress can make the Fed do anything. And so what is it that the president is supposed to do to make inflation go back down if it went up? And they can't make the Fed lower the interest rate. So I don't know what else you're supposed to do there. I mean, you could reduce taxes and all that other stuff, but that's not automatically going to lower the inflation rate. So don't get that one. Let's see. Cash offers do tend to get people's attention. I'm talking about a house. Oh yeah, Trey still trying to do some real estate. Too many T sounds in that, I think, Trey. Sorry about that. Forgot to talk for a minute. Let's answer some questions. Gonna keep an eye on the time. I'm bouncing it 6:25 Eastern time. Keeping it to an hour today. Watching a movie with my son after. Pandora Clove. Whole life insurance. And we had a similar question, but this is not the same one. This is the question I've always wanted to ask Mr. Ramsey. He is always very adamant about whole life insurance. Maybe we did read this one. But every time I heard him say this, he is speaking to a younger person or a couple working on buying a house, raising kids, getting out of debt. It still doesn't matter if you don't fit in these categories. Whole life insurance is still a crap product. And everybody sells it. Everybody that sells it, if they understand it, then they know it's a crap product. Because guess what? Instead of investing in whole life insurance, you buy cheaper term life insurance, and then you personally invest the difference, and you will come out way ahead. And also, guess what? You get to leave that to your heirs. Guess what? Guess what happens if you die with a whole life insurance policy? Guess what happens? They pay the death benefit, but they keep the freaking investment. It's a horrible product. It doesn't matter what situation in life or where you fit. Everybody thinks that they're the exception to everything, and nobody is. That's the beauty of this advice. It applies to everybody. Sid finally home. Don't feel great. Feel better, Sid. In the middle of paying off debt, but I want to go on a trip. No. Or as they say in England, how do they say it? No. It's like it's got an A in there somewhere. No. Like you live in Manchester. No. So there's no travel in baby step 2. Baby step 2 flare, you put it right there. There's no travel in baby step 2. No, 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 no. What don't you understand about that? You pay off your debt with that money. You don't go on a trip. No. And of course, this person, if you want to go on your trip and not be better off financially, you get to go. You're an adult. You're the one paying for it. We're not paying for it. You're the one, you're debt leveraging that trip though, by having the debt still. That's called debt leverage. You're debt leveraging whatever, your net worth in order to go on a trip. It's like same thing with people that keep a big pile of cash around instead of paying off debt. You're debt leveraging that savings account. Dumb. Makarovny. Okay. Swedish student loan debt. Okay. Student loans could be different in Sweden. Woohoo over here. All I know is a Swedish chef on the Muppet Show. I am planning. It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. I am planning on studying a 5-year program in a couple of years. Some Sweden. Not gonna give them a problem. I have no debt. This is better than my Swedish. Absolutely. I have no debt apart a small mortgage of about 70K USD at 4.1% variable rate, making quick conversion to USD to make it easy. Thank you. Appreciate it. I will be able to cash flow these studies. Excellent. What I'm wondering is if I should abuse the very generous Swedish student debt system. No, you shouldn't get into debt, even though it's very generous. Even though the interest is low. Even though, whatever the even though is, it's not, yes, take out debt will never be the advice. That would never be the advice. And again, the only exception is the mortgage, and that still has to be on a mortgage you can afford, meaning 25% of your take-home pay per month. Like that has to be your monthly mortgage payment. I know Dave doesn't agree on paying off debt with debt, period. So again, a lot of people do this. If you say, I know Dave, blah, 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 this, then nothing you are going to say is going to change the advice. You just, at this point, you just want somebody on Reddit to agree with you, and that's not hard to find. That's not a good barometer to saying that's a good idea. But he does renegotiate the mortgage when possible. Yeah, you can do that. But you're not playing the student debt game with it and justifying it the way you're trying to justify it, because it's not the same thing. If you could renegotiate your mortgage interest to 1.2, do that. But playing this little game, no, as they say in England, no. N-A-O. Sounds like there's like 5 vowels in there. No. I also planned on paying back the mortgage ASAP, and I'm afraid to be tempted by the fruit of another to slow down. See, that's what happens when I sing a little bit. It makes me want to keep singing. If the interest rate becomes 1.2%, it's also morally questionable, indeed. But I've also given 50% of my income in taxes. Okay, so none of this justification station here is going to change the advice to don't do any of that dumb crap. That is not advised. You know what the Dave advice is, so you can choose to do it or not do it. Good luck to you, my Swedish brother. But the Dave advice would be no. Jack, I'm glad you like the accent. I don't think Anon is as big a fan of that as you are. Short Kitchen 2391, 24-year-old, still a baby with 10K in debt, unemployed, that's a problem, and no resource to pay, that's a problem. Get a job. Get a job. I reached here and I am from Europe, okay? I reached here, I guess that means Reddit. But you still live in Europe or did you move to US? Sounds like reach the Reddit forum. Good. Congratulations. That is the internet. That's available to everybody except, you know, probably people in China are restricted on and such. But good job. Okay, so from Europe, that doesn't change any of the advice. I have around 10K debt and have probably no clue how to pay it. It is all credit cards and I am unemployed with really no inflows of income. I do some side gigs. That's better than nothing to survive as I work as a data scientist. And I do take freelance gigs like doing analytics and data reporting, dashboard stuff for my clients. Okay, great. But it doesn't pay more than 1K a month in a very good month. You have to get a full-time job. Why are you typing this instead of getting a full-time job? Barely can pay my rent, $550 plus 50 charges, and food stuff for which I might need at least $300. Not able to afford that much either. Well, the problem is you don't have a full-time job. Full-time jobs are necessary for almost all 24-year-olds. I don't understand what the problem is here, except that you don't have a job. I am dead in my mind in terms of motivation. I was expecting I may get unemployment benefits, but just got to know that it is canceled too. Well, is that because of the new regime over there in Europe? No, they saying to unemployment benefits. Well, for whatever reason, if you don't get that too, that's more reason that you should get a job. I don't know. What is it that's keeping you from getting a job? I don't understand. I mean, anything full-time would be better than just bringing in $1,000 like you are now, right? Or 1,000 bloody quid or whatever currency you have there. I was expecting, I canceled it. Hopeless and have no idea what to do. I'm very close, maybe in a very close, that means nothing. Very close to doing what? To getting a job. Very close, maybe a week to be listed in what they call here in France bank files. Okay, yeah, well, that means you got to be more diligent about getting a job. And a lot of times this comes down to, hey, guess what you got to do? You got to take a job you think you are too good for. So, as in, you got to maybe be a trash collector or something like that. Something that you think is underneath you. Stop being dumb and get a freaking job and start working that job, and then you can always try to upgrade in job while you're working the other full-time job. I don't know why people get stuck in that stuff where they don't do anything. Or, I mean, he's doing the side hustles, but I mean, if you ramped up and did 80 hours of that a month, I mean 80 hours a week of that, could you make more money doing that instead of the half-assing you're doing now? So, you know, I don't know why people get stuck on that. As I said, sad thing, part of government is once anything is passed, even if it is a complete failure, they need to just throw more money at the problem, right? Because more tax money being spent dumbly will fix the problem. For sure, Aslan. Boom, ba-dum, bum, bum. And they're also always staffing up more and more, right? The expansion of government is ridiculous. It was probably big enough in the 70s, and they didn't have to hire any more people. So, I mean, you start hiring more people, and then people don't have enough to do, probably. And if they have that much to do, then you have too much government overreach. If everybody that's employed by the government is working a full 40 hours a week and not just sitting around, then you have too much overreach. You have your hand in too many what is that called? Cookie jars or something. It wasn't cookie jars that I was thinking of. What's the other thing? You have your hand in too many something. I'm pretty sure both the fields need data science background. Yep. IT for top 4 categories in France. Research science in there too. Yeah, I mean, he could have some sad story like the guy did today, the truck driver that got a supposedly bogus ticket. And, I get that might, something that could blackball you in your industry. And so, if so, you got to accept the reality of that and you go to work at a grocery store full time. So you can, sitting there whining about it or even asking about it on Reddit does not get the problem solved. Maybe somebody else told him to get a job. And he did by now. This was 2 days ago. Hopefully he's got one. Normal monk 3998. Term life insurance. More term versus whole life. Should I, checking the clock, should I increase my current policy if single and no dependents? Okay, so if you're single and no dependents, you really don't need any insurance at all, technically, but you might want to have enough to bury you so that nobody has to, nobody that might possibly, any relatives that might possibly handle those arrangements. If you were to suddenly die, maybe there'd be a little bit for, them so that or in the estate rather, so that they would be able to pay for a funeral at least. Or at least for the funeral. So, what the life insurance is for is if you have dependents or if you say have a spouse that can't afford the mortgage payment by themselves. That kind of thing. That's what you should do. The 10 to 12 months. Yeah, 10 to 12 times your salary, because that in the market average year over year, that averages replacing that income. And so that's why you do 10 to 12. Should I consider taking out a separate life insurance policy to increase my total coverage, or is leaving things as is? It's fine. It's fine if you don't have any dependents. Let's say the life insurance covers 2 times your salary. So, I'm assuming that would be enough to pay for a small funeral, or maybe even a bigger one. Who knows? But yeah, the advice in Financial Peace University assumes you have dependents or at least a spouse, I think. So it's not absolutely necessary, but it would be nice to have enough to bury you, so that it doesn't increase the. It's not going to cost them any money. They don't have to pay money to bury you, but if anybody is going to be involved with handling stuff after your death, then you might want to leave them enough to at least bury you with. Says that you need enough to cover your end of life expenses and the funeral. Otherwise, that becomes a burden on your next of kin, right? Yeah, anytime you're going to be leaving anybody anything, like a house or something like that, if they want the house, then they would have to pay any debts. That's how it works. Otherwise, the house would have to be sold. So it doesn't work like that. It also doesn't work in like the movie Ghostbusters Afterlife. They were talking about there being a lot of debt on Egon's farm. They were saying there was a lot of debt that he had. And so that doesn't, they were left the house too, so, and they were staying in it. So if they wanted to keep it, of course, they would have to pay out the debt. And so that's the only time. If they didn't want the house, then they could just wash their hands of it. The debt doesn't get passed on. Employer 2 times probably fine for single no kids, Sid says. And I've learned to trust Sid mostly over the years, mostly. Debt free or higher salary? Why does it have to be either? Why can't it be both? BOAF, both. Asplehegem. Debt free or higher salary? We are 29 and have 2 kids. House is paid off and we earn about $100,000 per year working online. It's really nice having time with the kids and to tend to our acreage and help out in the community. Great. But the job options aren't great here. The best I can probably do is some minimum wage retail position. Why don't you keep working online? What happened to, the lack of details are staring me in the face here. Wouldn't impact the online business. Oh, you're trying to work more. Okay, great. Yeah, do that. Absolutely do that. Even if the business went under, we'd be able to afford daily expenses for the 4 of us on minimum wage. Okay. So I'm tempted to stay. We also love the house. But if I take a job in a more populated area, we would double the household income. We'd have to take on debt for a house. You don't have to. You don't have to, no. You don't. You just buy a cheaper house than the $400,000 that you're looking at. See, people don't ever consider that. Oh, so my house it's completely paid off, and so when I sell it, I'll get about let's say 100,000, 200,000. Then guess what? Then your budget for the house is that amount of money that you will get in equity off the house that you can sell the house for. You don't kick that up. It doesn't matter if you're moving to a populated area and it's more high cost of living. You don't need to get a bigger, more expensive house. You don't need to do that. You can get a smaller house even. And one, again, that you don't have to take out a mortgage for. Upgrading in house, you shouldn't be taking out a mortgage for that. You shouldn't constantly have new mortgages to fund your need for a bigger house as you change houses over and over again. So you're going to have perpetually a mortgage. The idea is you have a 15-year mortgage at most, and that, better off you pay it off in 7 to 10 years. So, and the house is paid off, so you're there. So that would be good. If you can't move, my advice would be, if the stipulation is that you get a $400,000 house and a new mortgage to move to the more populated area, how does that help you? That's not helping you. That's giving you more debt. That's not helping you at all. I would keep things as they are based on that. That makes me nervous knowing we would be dependent on earning higher salaries to, right, well, this is you making the dumb decision to upgrade in-house. You don't have to get a $400,000 house. You can get a smaller house that costs less. You can look in the suburbs where the houses are less expensive as well. See, people get one thing in their mind as far as how things are going to go, and then there's no room for anything else in there, no other possibilities. There's no other possibilities that go in there except what they have in their head, and they have in their head $400,000 house. That's dumb. Stop being dumb. And so you don't have to choose between debt-free or higher salary. You can have the debt-free, and you can have a higher salary now by working part-time at a grocery store or something like that, like you said. So if your moving requires you to buy a $400,000 house and get a mortgage for it, that's going to be a no. From UK, Coach Steve Money. No. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm probably going to be saying that all the time now. Let's see. Get a house that's 200, 300K, right? That is what you should, exactly. And you save up cash for the down payment too. You get no mortgage on upgrading a house. No. It's like, that's the same crap as financing a phone, and then every 2 years you get a new phone. So you're perpetually, and the reason they do that for you, They're not your friends over at Apple. They're not saying, well, we always want you to have the best phones. They do, but they want you to be financing it so they make more money. So you're perpetually in a phone lease then. And that's the way car lenders want to do it as well. You know, car companies, their own built-in lending facilities, other, you know, banks as well that lend money for cars. They want you to constantly have a loan. You pay it off, and like as soon as you pay it off, then you decide you need a better car, and then you get another loan, perpetually making payments. And that is how they work. That's how the banks work. That's how lenders work. They're not there to help you out. They're there to secure the bag. Weird Cicada 7800. Should I pull out of my 401k? Phrasing. And put it in my own stocks or investments? No, you shouldn't pull anything out of 401k. I mean, the only thing you might do is roll that over to a Roth IRA. Excuse me, but you would create a tax event on that. The most time the advice is just to leave it in the 401k. And if you want to, if you have better options managing your own investments, shouldn't be any single stocks though. Managing your own investments is making more than the 401k is, and you don't have better options in the 401k because you are getting the tax free on the contributions. You will have to pay taxes when you take the money out eventually in retirement, but you are getting tax-free contributions, and that's the tax advantage of the 401k. Tax advantage of the Roth 401k or the Roth IRA is that you pay taxes just like you pay taxes on anything else that you buy after you get your paycheck. You're paying tax on the contributions, but you don't pay tax on any of the growth in a Roth. And again, the only time you would maybe want to do what you're asking about is, and again, it probably wouldn't be to pull anything out, just leave it, let it sit, it'll grow some. And you just, from now on, you just max out your own investments if yours are making more than the Roth, the 401k, excuse me. Company has no company match, but has profit sharing. Profit sharing is there, regardless if I contribute or not. Does the profit sharing go automatically into the 401k, or can you get that cash? Let me clarify. Excellent. Approved. I need to either roll over the current, I don't know if you need to, excuse me. I mean to either roll over the current amount to an IRA as well as to stop contributing my current amount and invest that amount myself. Well, that you can do. You can roll it over to a regular IRA, but again, that's not going to be as good as a Roth IRA. So you can roll it to an IRA, and I would not use that I would just let it sit in that if you want to get it out of that 401k for whatever reason. If you think you can make more money with it, including what it may have made already, you do have to factor that in as well. So yeah, I mean, either way is up to you, but generally you wouldn't take it out as long as it's making close to what you're making. But if you're making more than in your own investing yourself, great, you figured it out. Good job. Dan 13 Threat, frequent poster here on the subreddit. Lamb burgers for dinner. Now, can you have some lovely in the lamb burgers? What would be good for that? Some, how do you pronounce it? Tzatziki sauce? Can you have that on there? Like a lovely gyro burger? Jack has done bulk cooking. Jeez. I got the lamb 30% off. Bought a $2 tub of feta to go with it. Awesome. Feta. Ramsey and Trump video. While I'm sure that the video of Dave Ramsey and Donald Trump will most likely revolve around politics and the current state of our country, it should be very interesting to hear each of them talk about their general views regarding debt and personal finance. Sure. Specifically, Trump's opinion on baby steps and the use of leverage or good debt, which he certainly has done. He certainly has used leverage, but there's no such thing as good debt, is where I would agree probably with this person and Mr. Trump, along with other investing or business strategies. I mean, hopefully they get into all that. That'd be great. One can only dream, right? Hopefully they get into all that. It's on YouTube in the morning, so we'll find out. It's already on the Ramsey Network app. Simple brain, one simple brain. You don't need two. What are your thoughts on building your credit score by paying your rent on time? I mean, it's a byproduct of it. I mean, you can't stop it from being, you can freeze your credit score. You can't stop things from being reported. So if your landlord reports it, that is going to, and you pay on time all the time, that is going to make your credit score go up. Like I said, if you freeze it, you don't have to worry about it anyway. And here's the thing on here, we don't care about credit score. So I always am sus about the people. Now I'm curious about building credit by reporting rent payments. It sounds appealing, but I want to hear from others before making a decision. What are the thoughts on using rent payments to build credit? No, there's no building credit. There's no building credit plan as part of the Ramsey advice. There's nothing that he says to do to build credit, because you don't need it. We don't care about it. The only thing you need a high credit score for is to be able to borrow more money. And we're not doing that except for a house. And in America, you can get manual underwriting, which the lender for you can get information from your landlord saying that you paid on time every time. And that's called manual underwriting, because that means they actually have to do some work instead of just putting it through the computer and letting the I love debt score decide whether you get the loan or not. Confident vacation 418. Car trouble in baby step 2. Hopefully I can get some good advice from you all. I'm currently in baby step 2, 7K left in student loans to pay off, and I'm having car troubles. I'm looking for a 5K to replace the transmission, okay? I mean, that's up to you. If you want to take a chance on another car instead of replacing that transmission, go get a 5K car then. Or as cheap a car as you can. Have your mechanic check it out before you buy it, though. The car still drives very, very, very rough, but still technically gets from point A to point B as of now. The car is blue booked at 4K, and not with needing a transmission, it wouldn't be. So, I mean, you may be looking at scrap prices, but also you may be able to get $1,000 for it, so you might be able to get more than scrap prices. I don't know what should I do since I'm close to paying off student loan. Should be paid off in April 2025. That's a lot of months. That's what is that? It's October's 10th month. 10, 11, 12, that's 3, and then 4 is 7, so that's 7 months. I don't know if your car transmission will completely die by then. I don't know. Don't know. It's got to be up to you and your mechanic whether you pronounce a time of death on one vehicle and go to another very cheap vehicle. So, but the choice is up to you. And if you don't know anything about cars, I would consult a mechanic. And not the mechanic that works for the person selling the car, or the mechanic that's at the dealership, a mechanic that you find and that you're paying to take a look at it. Small award, 524, advice, don't judge, but I love judging. I love judging so much. Who doesn't love to judge? Oh, no cukes, but can have full fat Greek yogurt. Excellent. Oh, let's see, what's Jack? Question. Oh, do you add household and toilet to grocery budget? You can do whatever you want. You can put that in a separate thing. Being single, you could probably get away with putting it in the same grocery line item. So that's up to you. Whatever way is best for you to keep track of it and stay under budget, what you're budgeting for it. I mean, a single guy, especially living with roommates, you probably have no idea what you would spend on household items in a month or a year or anything like that. So, I mean, you can like go back on your bank account, check your bank statements online, and just check your history and see if you can. I mean, it's not going to be itemized on there. You'd have to have the receipts probably. So I don't think it's going to be itemized. So you would just have to try to remember what stuff you have bought for the house recently, for the toiletries and household items. As it's going to save for the replacement car. Once you get the 5,000, if your car is still running, then swap back and pay off the student loan. That's a good idea too. That allows you to do both things. That allows you to be able to replace the car immediately. And I mean, needing a transmission, that's a definite thing. That's different than something might break and having $5,000 extra in case something might break. That's actually, it's a bad transmission, and bad transmissions are always on borrowed time. So yeah, that's good advice from Aslan. Absolutely. Thanks, Az. How much to spend? I usually buy toiletry and household items every 3 months. Yeah, I mean, you could probably just add a little bit to the grocery budget and it will probably cover it. Mr. Sid pays for soda from the fun money. Great. I mean, the stuff with married couples, the baby steps and the what you do in general, budgets, etc., all that stuff is compromise. And if both of you can agree to it, that supersedes any Ramsey advice at all. You will, Jack. I mean, Jack, the worst thing that will happen is in the beginning you go over, like if you look up in 3 months and you spent more in the grocery budget, that either means you bought too much groceries, or you bought too many household and toiletry items, or you didn't budget enough, and it's up to you. Have to decide which one it was. Tray includes dog food and grocery budget line. I guess I could get way more finite. Yeah, you don't have to get finite. Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. That, like, on how you keep the paperwork on all of this stuff, using every dollar or writing it on paper or a spreadsheet or whatever. I'm down for anything that helps you make the budget, keep track of it, and stick to the budget. I'm down for any way you can do that, possibly. Hey, we're supposed to be on zero carb. Full sugar soda, that is he's breaking it. Breaking the zero carb. Soda's terrible for your health. Doesn't limit himself to one a day, limiting it. Alternative like fruit juice. And that may have just as much sugar in it. Where were we? Advice, don't judge, from Small Award 524. I'm looking forward to judging here. Let's see. Hello, I'm 25 years old, just a baby, working in cybersecurity. Congratulations. Some people in the industry told me about working multiple jobs. So now I have 2 jobs making me 145K and 1 job making me 140K. All right. If you're cheating by all 3 of those being, which for that kind of money, I would assume that all those are full-time jobs. And people are doing that. So I am going to judge you on that. You shouldn't be doing that. That's not fair to your employer. Now, if you tell your employer and they're fine with you having other jobs as long as you get what they need you to get done, but most of the time when you tell them you have time also to work 2 other full-time jobs, they will be finding more stuff for you to do for the same amount they're paying you now, I would think. Let's say after taxes bring home about $23,000. Assume that's a month. Have 5,000 in savings. Only 5,000 in savings? What's up with that? Oh, is that just because it's just a new thing? I owe 30K on my car. The current value is 17K, and I have a major repair that will cost 3 to 5K. So I'd rather just trade in the car for something I want that's newer with warranty. Okay, there's no warranty. There's no newer. When you have debt, you don't buy new fancier cars. You get a beater. Cheapest car. But since you have no morals about the job, I wouldn't expect you to have any about following Dave's advice either. Let's see. The next car I'll keep for a while, which is, you don't know that. You don't know how long you'll keep that for. See, it's dumb. People get one thing in their head, and that's all they think about. They don't consider, oh, let's see, it may have problems and I won't be keeping it for a while. Their justification for this crap is that they'll be keeping it a while, which is AMG GLE 63 Coupe, which is about 80 to 90K, and that's a no. That's a no. You know, like you're talking about debt, where you owe money on your car. I don't know if you've heard of Mr. Ramsey, but he's the no debt guy. And if there was a European version of it, a UK version of it, he would say no debt. I owe 6K left on my credit cards, which I'll pay off this month. Why? If you're just going to get other debt, why bother paying it off? Why? I work remote, so don't need to drive the car. Then you don't need a car. My monthly bills are $5,000 a month, so I can save about 18K a month. What should I do? But you're gonna do whatever you want to do. You're not gonna follow his advice. So I don't think this person. I am judging you, and I don't think you should be having 3 full-time jobs and not working for them full-time. 3 times, unless, like I said, unless you are doing what each one of them wants you to do for that pay. If you're getting all that stuff done for all 3 of those, then more power to you. But I doubt that's happening. Okay, last one. Yeah, if you need the extra lesson in discipline, cash is great. Yep. Because it takes longer too to count out the cash too. Even that makes it take longer than just or insert and then do pen and done. Then you have to go. You have to take out the wallet. You gotta do this, count it to the person, and you're looking at the money going away each time. And wow, this is what this costs. Instead of just the. Is there any value doing FPU by yourself for yourself if you have a partner? Yeah, you can, but that could lead to a quicker divorce as well. So assume the partner doesn't want to participate and can't be talked around. If the partner doesn't want to participate and is not going to participate in any of the advice, you're asking for a world of hurt. You can still be educated. You can still get benefit out of FPU by yourself. But more importantly than doing that probably would be counseling, because there's likely going to be some counseling needed. So instead of paying the money for FPU, pay the money for counseling, and then you guys compromise on what you're going to do about money. And then once you get that settled, then if you want to do FPU, then you'll be in a better place to approach it. Whereas you go into it now, it's only going to reinforce what you want to do with money, and make the partner seem like it's not the right thing to do. Also, you shouldn't have finances mixed in unless it's your spouse. And you can say spouse instead of partner here. Saying spouse is fine. And if it's not a spouse, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't be living together. Shouldn't be buying a house together. Shouldn't be paying rent together. Shouldn't be combining finances together. None of that should be together till you get married. Why does Dave Ramsey think it's okay to buy stocks of companies that use debt? That's fine. Borrow, slave to the lender. Sure, that's not on him. He's looking at what they make. So that's not him taking out the debt. He doesn't own the debt. And, every company doesn't tell you exactly what, I mean, if you dig, you can find out, but every company doesn't tell you that you can, or exactly what they don't show you their sheet. They don't make statements saying, we took out this much money from the bank. We borrowed this much money from the bank. I mean, if it's a public company, you can get the information probably. But if it's a private company, you can't, but there also wouldn't be stocks. But it's also, you don't buy single stocks either. You buy mutual funds. And so it's not your debt, it's the company's debt. And if the company still makes money, if the stock keeps going up, making that mutual fund still go up, then that's all that needs to do for you. You don't need to be the advice giver or the advice judger of different companies. You don't have to do that. That's not in your mandate. Your mandate is to make your finances better. And you're not profiting off of anybody doing debt directly. You're not profiting off of that. The company may or may not profit when they take out debt. They may or may not. But that's got nothing to do with Dave Ramsey. If Dave Ramsey invests in a mutual fund that has a stock of a company that lends money or that borrows money, I would assume most of them do that from time to time. So it'd be kind of hard probably to find any that don't do that. Alrighty. Went over the hour. Shame on me. Hopefully my son will forgive me. Once again, Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And you're watching this on youtube.com/Coach Steve Money again for the playlists that are financially involved. Answering your financial questions. That's the weekend stream. Tuesdays and Thursdays, Ramsey Show, Aftershow. That's this show. And the music playlist. Sang a song from that in the beginning of this stream. Do the plugs real quick and get out of here. Once more, like I said, Ramsey is Solution Certified Financial Coach. And if you've got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation assessment with me at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. Alternatively, you can email me about anything about financial coaching or about anything else on my YouTube channel. Lots of interest on there. Donations can go to paypal.me/Coach Steve Money. Alternatively, to CashApp, $Coach Steve Money. Alternatively, to Walmart gift card to Coach Steve Money, gmail.com. Also, alternatively, a super chat. You can do that. YouTube does get 30% of that. But if that's the way you want to donate, I'm fine with that. Upcoming streams, answering your financial questions. That's Saturdays and Sundays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, unless there's a Buckeye or Washington Commanders night game, and I'll do it that same day, but at 4 p.m. Eastern. And the Ramsey Show Aftershow Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time. And on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, the Ramsey Show Chat Refugee Streams. Like I said, it's Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, that same time slot at 5:25 Eastern Time, when the Ramsey Show video goes to the Ramsey Network app. Sorry, I need a producer. Alrighty. So thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you so much if you have done those things already. And make smart financial decisions every day. Also, smart time management decisions. Do that as well.